That night, after the first day's interview, in the privacy of the room to which Mrs. Whaley had shown him by the light of a candle, James wrote some notes.
Appearance, complexion is very white. Wrinkles, crimson of youth is distinctly visible. Sight is fairly dim according to the subject. Now that she would have an opportunity to learn to read again, she cannot do so. Cheekbones are high and rather prominent. Hair, quite gray, a little curled, of middling length. Walks with a quick step without a staff. I was informed by Mr. Clute that she could yet cross a stream on a logger pole as steadily as any other person. Stand tolerably erect with her head bent forward, apparently from her having for a long time being accustomed to carrying heavy burdens in a strap placed across her forehead. Dress, shirt, short grown petticoat stockings, grown of undressed flannel colored brown, made in old Yankee style with long sleeves. Covered the top of the hips and was tied before in two places with strings of deerskin. Stockings of blue broadcloth. Such the dress that this woman was contented to wear, and habit had rendered it convenient and comfortable, were it not as a matter of necessity, but from choice, for it will be seen that her property is sufficient to enable her to dress in the best fashion, and to allow her every comfort of life. English, she speaks English plainly and distinctly, with a little of Irish emphasis. Recollection and memory exceeded my expectations. It cannot be reasonably supposed that a person of her age has kept the events of 70 years in so complete a chain as to be able to assign to each its proper time and place. She, however, bade her recital with a few obvious mistakes, as might be found in that of a person of 50. Has the use of words so well as to render herself intelligible on any subject which she is acquainted.
When he had finished writing his notes, he mused. How little of her lay on this page. He had in no way captured her face. Conventional religion he had abandoned long ago. But now a scripture came to him. Wisdom hath building her house. She hath hewed out the 7 pillars. She hath killed her beast. She hath mingled her wine. She hath also furnished her table. She crieth upon the highest places of the city. Who's the simple? Let him turn in hither. As for him that wenteth understanding, she said to him, Come eat of my bread, and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. While Mary was waiting for him to stop staring at her the first day, she repeated her phrase for him. My father, a door, a wall, the hills, a sledge, and the snow.
Your father, a wall, a.
Yes, I was very young, and it was early morning, and all else besides my father and me were still abed. I remember he with some difficulty opened the door in our house, and I was standing near him, and when the door finally swung inward, all I could see was white. A little of it fell straight away into the room. It must have snowed all the night, and that snow had piled up against our door. Because I was so short, I could never see over it. For me, the outdoors had vanished, and in its place was a wall, a sheet of white. Instead of getting some instrument with which to push the white aside, Father did a curious thing. He carved out a step in the wall of snow and asked me to help him make another and another. He meant it to be my way to the outdoors, for he said, There now there, and sure we have made a little step stool, a little snow ladder. I must have been dressed for the cold, for he directly helped me put my foot into the first little step. For this step, Mary said, and then the next and the next, 1, 2. I climbed the few snow stairs, and suddenly the wall ended. There was a space between the snow and the top of our door, and I crawled out that. Then I stood and looked out over all the snow on all the cold hills about our house. The fields and the trees stood white under the sun, and the whiteness shone in the clear air. Then I laughed with relief to see Father's head appear at the space through which I had come. He pushed something out that I couldn't recall ever having seen before. A little sledge which he must have made as we slept, with a heavy rope at the front. Next he dug his hands into the snow and started pulling himself out, squeezing through the small opening and slithering about on his stomach. We too had come up a little snow ladder which he had made ourselves. We had a small sledge. Having climbed the white dead wall, we left the smoky dark air behind in the cabin. Whatever it held on us seemed a thing that belonged to some fast dissolving time and place. And I felt that all that lay outside was ours, and that the way it lay was ready.